Hello and welcome, Inspired Podcast community. This is Caroline, and today I present an interview guest. Wow, this is amazing. It is Aaron, and I know him from the Napoleon Hill Institute. We studied together a couple of months this year. I'm so grateful, and we met in person
I know.
in New York. It was in
Yeah.
New York. So, would you like to present yourself a little? Thank you.
Sure, of course, of course. My name is Aaron Tahir, and I'm CEO of the Secret Mentor Online. A Secret Mentor is a community that I started. It is personal development and business development as well. And what I started for because it was a story of self-care that developed aftercare. It was like about me trying to create what I found and what I find distinguished me from other people and then give it to another group of people as well. So I'm the CEO of Secret Mentor. I also am co-director of a company called Tipan, which is a fintech app which is launched across the USA in 2024. So I'm super excited about that. And I am an author as well. I have a couple of published books and one coming out in February as well. And I do a couple of other things like motivational speaking and obviously speaking in general with different companies across the world at the minute as well. And I'm finishing in 3 days' time in the wonderful Newcastle in England, my last event of the year with a beautiful big company. So that is a bit about me. I've been doing this for 6 years now in total, and it's an absolute blessing.
Wow, I can feel or hear the excitement in your voice about your projects, and I
Yes.
already feel inspired. Like,
Well, this is the game, right?
thank you so much. This is our topic today and everyday inspiration. So, what
Yeah.
inspires you?
So there's a couple of different things that I would say particularly inspire me. But what usually inspires me is the stuff that we don't naturally see, but the stuff that we feel. So I am not particularly inspired by material. So a lot of people that, especially in the coaching industry, are quite inspired by material. So material possessions in terms of the car, the house, the jewelry, whatever it might be. I don't have the affection towards that other people do. I still love it. I don't rule it out because we have to understand the universe and how it works. We have to still welcome things. But I come from an energy. That is the energy that inspires me. So whenever I see things happening in a certain way, or I see that I feel energetically connected to do something, that's whenever I get inspiration because then I feel that that is something the universe has given me to act upon. And we all know that acting upon something is the biggest part of what I call the Holy Trinity of manifestation. We have our thoughts, feelings, and actions, and the Holy Trinity is summed up in action. So that part is actually an energetic reaction. So that's why I go from energy more than I would go from somebody's obvious instincts of what is going on in the 3D world for them right now. So that is what inspires me to begin with. And then I act upon those things, which gives me the results, which then gives me the material that I now have as well. So I have a beautiful home, I have a beautiful cars, and I have like beautiful jewelry or whatever you see as material success. They now are an outcome of the action and reaction that I seen as the initial inspiration of energy.
Oh, wow. Yeah, I totally understand. What you mean by material things is they are effects, and you are inspired by the causes or
Yeah.
by the process of how it
Yes.
materializes.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
amazing. Thank you so much for sharing. I never thought of it that way. You know, I think most of the people, as you said, are focused on the material things, like because this is also impressing others. Yeah,
Mm.
when they
Yeah.
wear this and then
Well,
wear
it creates like a comparative factor. But if you look at the people that have been successful through time, if you look at, even Napoleon Hill, if you look at people that are in our time, in our generation, like Richard Branson with Virgin, all of these people followed an energetic pull to do something which would make them happy. So it would either grow them, make them happy, or make them more money. And in the long term, that's always what happens because they have an energetic pull. Richard Branson didn't think about setting up a cruise ship 20 years ago, right? But he did have the idea and the energy behind that to start to begin to move towards that. Like, our Nightingale talks about the progressive realization of a where the ideal is moving towards it in succession. And this is how we move, right? It's getting energy, moving into the energy, and then you get the outcome. So if we detach from the material, it becomes a lot easier.
Yes, that's so true. And I always think when I see things on the outside, whatever it is, the outside, these are just past thoughts. It is past
Mm-hmm.
thinking. So it
Yeah.
is, it's not in the present. So the result is in
Yeah.
the present, but what we think now is determining what we will witness or
Mm-hmm.
experience in the so-called future. No,
Yeah.
time
So
doesn't
called.
exist. Yes. So who inspires you?
So this is like a super controversial question. The reason why I say who inspires me is the people that I find inspiration in are usually complete strangers. Um, I also find inspiration within myself. Again, the reason why I do that is because I don't want a comparative factor. I don't want to be like Napoleon Hill's my inspiration or Nightingale's my inspiration, Bob Proctor's my inspiration. They are inspirational people. And of course, they create inspiration with individuals. But my personal inspiration that I feel drawn towards is sometimes, and most of the time, complete strangers. So I'll see something in a public setting, public forum, or an online forum, say, for example, Facebook, Instagram, whatever social media platform you want to use. I'll see things that people are doing, and that will give me inspiration. And they're the people that I feel inspired by because what those individuals are doing in real time is acting upon things. So they're finding something that they find fun, that they find like good, that lifts them up into a higher vibrational state, and it makes them move towards it. Why does it make them move towards it? Because they're doing exactly what they want. Whereas a lot of people that, of course, have success, they're inspirational individuals. Of course, that goes without saying. But my personal inspiration comes from those people who are gravitating just towards what makes them happy, right?
That's such
And you can find super amounts of inspiration within yourself. I find inspiration in myself every day because we're not just one person. We have multi, faculties to use. We have our higher mental faculties. We have all these different things that we can use with energy we can tap into. And we do have hereditary and environmental energy and inspiration. And that hereditary inspiration that comes from your predecessors, the people, your grandparents, grandparents, etc., they're all inspirational too because there'll be little dots along the way that have led to you in your current circumstances being exactly that. So what they've seen, who they've been in contact with, that will filter through in your genetic stream as well. So those things is why you usually find inspiration in particular things, because that has filtered down throughout hereditary. And then obviously you have our general environmental circumstances that make us start to feel inspiration in a certain way because we see things with our own two eyes and hear things with our ears, and that's why we get pulled towards certain things. So sometimes you can find inspiration in somebody online that is doing something that has no relevance to your career, no relevance to what you do for a living, and they're your inspiration because they're doing something outside the box of what you felt comfortable with. So they're inspirational.
That's true. It's about the frequency they are in. And when you tune to
Mhm.
that frequency, and you can do new combinations of what you are
Mhm.
doing and with them. And yeah, I heard about that. And what you
Yeah.
said about the people is maybe like to detach from a
Mhm.
person, the message from the person. So
Mhm.
seeing people like Napoleon Hill as messenger.
Yes,
Yeah,
100%.
messenger.
Yeah.
Yeah, there was something like the quote that said, "I'm grateful for the idea that used me." So the
Yes.
idea is for everyone in the universe
Yes.
mind. Yes, this is what,
Yeah. But
yeah.
everyone has an idea that's going to use them. It's just whether you act upon it and whether you believe that the idea even exists for you. The problem nowadays is people don't feel inspired and they don't get inspirational thought. And being inspired is being in spirit, which is your feminine energy. So you call towards that, which your in spirit energy, your feminine energy is more universal. So you connect, you meditate, you do things that are more feminine energy. And it's not to say you're a more feminine person. We all have both. I have XY chromosome, so do you. We all have both. We just genetically are pulled towards one or the other, right? So it's just going into that power and seeking it out because you can always be in your masculine energy and do the action taking, right? Because it's all the action. But the inspired one is the in spirit thought. And the in spirit thought is what leads you to act upon your feminine energy, right?
Yes.
So it's knowing that if I meditate and I really, really ask the universe to bring me stuff from the 4D into the 3D, that I will be given that idea. It's not just going to be something that I have to think about and then it just goes away. It's given to me for a reason. So the idea that has used me is because I've actually asked it to be used, right? A lot
Yes.
of people just think it's another flippant idea. And again, that's the difference between people who see motivation as the thing that keeps them inspired. But motivation is just a fleeting idea, it comes and goes.
Mm.
Whereas we need to stay in that and persistence and consistency loop, because it's persistence and consistency that gets you full circle, because the motivation is just going to go up and down. That's the reality, right? So whenever you're not motivated, you still need to be in spirit. You need to be in your inspired thought to remember that that low frequency that you might feel right now because things haven't maybe went your way, it's exactly where you need to be right now because the idea is using you in that moment still, even though we don't believe it sometimes, but it's still there. It's believing that.
Yeah, it's always there.
Hmm.
What we need is the awareness. Yeah, the
Yeah,
awareness that it's there.
yeah,
Wow, you nailed it. If I can, if I can use that expression, thank you so much. It was
yeah.
like an aha moment. You are so inspiring. My next question is, how do you inspire other people?
So I like to inspire others through action, right? So a lot of people, the business that I set up, the Secret Mentor, is exactly that. It says what it says on the tin. It's the secret mentor. It's not the secret coach for a reason. I am a mentor because I show people through my action and reaction as to what I do, right? I'm not a coach. A coach is somebody who tells people and gives information and allows the other person to act upon that information if they wish to, right? But
Yes,
I'm doing that plus showing somebody what they want to do and how they're going to do it, right?
yes,
So that is how I like to inspire people, is by saying to somebody, well, here's the results. Here, if you want physical results, here's the physical results. Because we are so prone as the 95-5 split, or as I call it, the 99-1. So 99% of the population believe in and think in a certain way. I believe it's 99-1. I don't believe it's 95-5. Because if you look at statistics, it would tell you that, right?
yes,
But for the sake of talking, 99% of people think a certain way. So 1% think a different way. So they're already naturally gravitating towards what I need to do to inspire other people. They're already seeing that. So for me to inspire somebody else, I have to act upon the things that I say I'm going to do and then show a physical result, which is what I do. But my coaching and what I do in The Secret Mentor, it's completely about that. I like to inspire people through saying, here's how you change your self-image, because here's what I did. Here's how you move a barrier to belief, because here's what I did. And I will use real life examples of my life for that and proof, right? Because we all want to see proof. It's like if you read like the Bible, you want to see proof. People want to see proof all the time because that's naturally the way we are, right?
yes,
And like we have quotes, like the absence of evidence isn't evidence of absence, right? From U squared. It's the same concept, right? It always exists, but we're just naturally built to think a certain way. And the thought is show me the reality, show me the physical, and I will now join you, right?
yes,
So I found through being a mentor and not a coach that that's whenever my businesses grew and grew and grew, because people come on board more and more and more because they see that the actions I take are not just me saying I'm going to do something and then backing out or saying I'm going to do something and no, not producing it at the other end. You have to follow through with things
yes,
to be a mentor, right? So that is the stance that I come from. If I want to show people inspiration, then it needs to come in a physical form. And I'm not saying, here's a Bentley, here's a Ferrari. I'm not saying that. What I'm saying is, whenever you've seen physically, and when you can look at yourself in the mirror, for example, and say, I am content with my body, I am content and I am happy, right? And I'm happily contented to be in this right now. That's a physical, that's a tangible resource that I can say you've took the material and you've done the work, you've changed the paradigm, you've moved your subconscious, you've moved up the vibration and the frequency, and now you look at yourself differently. That is still physical because this is physical. Whilst it's still an energy ball in motion in a high speed of vibration, of course, but it's still a physical. I can touch my skin, I can touch my hair, I'm real. So whenever you see things like that, then you can be inspired because the same person that walks into a room that couldn't walk into a room 1 month ago or 2 months ago and would get the red rash up their neck and be stumbling and would forget their words and wouldn't want to look anybody in the eye. Whenever that same person can walk in confident, you've just got a physical result.
Oh,
That's
yes.
the difference. So that is how I like to inspire people is come on board and let me work with you until we get to a point whereby you're seeing the actual results. That's what we do. Because then there's proof. And then you can believe it. And once you believe it fully, obviously we always act as if behavioral activation therapy, we use that all the time. We act as if, we act as if. But at a subconscious level, we always still want that 1% of proof. Always. We're always searching for it. And I find a lot of people act from a coaching perspective and not a mentorship perspective, right?
Yes.
That's just how the reality is of the human body, the human population.
Yeah, I totally understand. You are reliable when you are the proof,
Exactly.
and you are respected for that
Yeah,
also.
exactly.
And when someone is only talking about and not showing results or not
Yeah,
having results, then
yeah.
it's not that the case.
It's
Uh,
not a reliable
yeah,
source, right?
yes.
You
So
can't
what
be inspired.
you already talked about your gifts and talents to the world. This would be my next question, combined with the question if you have any offers for the podcast community.
Hmm.
Yes.
Sorry, what was your question, Caroline?
What are your gifts and talents to the world? I would say you
Oh,
inspire people, but you can also expand on that. And
yeah,
then combined, because your gifts and talents are in your offers and services you provide.
yeah,
And if you
yeah, of
can
course, of
share.
course. For me, I personally feel that the realms of what my gifts and talents lie in are with people in general, which is why I gravitated towards the role of being a mentor. And I've taken so long to write so many different programs and books and whatever it might be, because my gifts and talents lie within the nature of myself to help other people. If I look at like my past, my history, how I was brought up, the things that happened to me in my small little life so far were extraordinary things. But I've always managed to make extraordinary results off the back of extraordinary circumstances, but to a negative and to a positive. Like negative extraordinary, right? Things that shouldn't really happen to someone of a certain age. And then you see someone succeeding of a certain age. I've always had that talent to be able to see the good side, the green side of life, right? And my talent lies in the ability to bring that out of other people. That's what I see myself doing all the time. And I also have proof of it because I have so many testimonials and results within my programs. But I have the proof in that I give everything that I have to every other person that I come in contact with. And I leave people, as Bob Proctor used to say, with that little bit extra, that little feeling of increase every single time. And that's my gift. My gift is leaving people with a little bit extra every single time I'm in their company or even in their presence or even on a Zoom call. I want to leave people feeling better, right? And even like the app that me and my partner created, it is all about serving other people. It's not about us. It's about serving other people, getting other people more so that they can live better, have better lives, be more fulfilled. The same with my business. So what I want to do is that's what I want to do in life. I want to create things constantly that draws out the good things that I know I have within me, which is to make people feel better in whatever way that looks like, whether it's mentorship, coaching, the app, whatever it might be. I know I can make people feel better. I know that because that is a gift that I was given, and I believe I was firmly given that from universe, God, whatever you want to call it, because I use it, right? And when you
Yes,
use something, it becomes a well-oiled machine. It starts to be a lot easier to do. It starts to gravitate towards you better. People start to gravitate towards you a lot easier. So it just happens. It's like, have you ever heard of the red car theory?
The red car,
Red car theory, yeah.
if you focus on, it's where you focus your attention on, you see more, or
Yeah, so red car theory is basically if you were to, if you were, say for example, were at work this morning and you came home now, and I said, how many red cars did you see? And you would say, I wasn't looking at any. And I said to you, okay, so I'll give you like $100 for every red car you see. You would look for the red car, right? And this is the thing, when you're looking for stuff, it happens because you go searching, right?
Wow.
I go searching within myself all the time to try and draw out something that I haven't drawn out already to make my life a little bit better, to make someone else's life a little bit better. And this is why I constantly am developing my programs or constantly developing new books.
Mhm.
Because every time I try and pull something out, I think, oh, I can help somebody else with that. That's my gift. Because I know there's stuff within me that can help other people, not just me. Because
Yes.
it's not just about me. You're not put on this planet to just be selfish. You're here to be self-full. So go and be that.
Wow, this was an amazing answer. Thank you. Thank you so much. Yes, I see it. I see your vision and also what you are doing. You are
Yeah.
leaving our podcast community with increase. And now,
Yeah.
if you have a special offer, if they use the code word inspired, they can reach out to you and work with
Yes. Yes, 100%. You can actually join my Secret 7 Steps program at the minute. If you use the code INSPIRED, you'll get 10% off as well.
Wow,
So
thank
it's
you.
the new one is a 10-week course
Mhm.
and it's fabulous. Really, really good, amazing results, amazing financial results, amazing material results, but most importantly, amazing results for people to feel better, healthier, wealthier, happier. And I always say you shouldn't do anything unless it makes you happy, it grows you, or it earns you more money. You should never do anything unless it gets you those three things in return. So, and it does.
Oh, thank you so much, Aaron. And
You're
please
so welcome.
reach out to Aaron and get into his course and replay this podcast because the last sentence was golden nugget. Thank you
Yeah,
so much for being in my
you're so
show, my
welcome.
guest,
You're
being
so
in
welcome.
my life. Yes. Thank you.
Yes.
This was our show, and see you in the next episode.